Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. 7 U.S. spot XRP ETFs. Visa integrates 4 stable coins. Who are they? Western Union and Solana? Oh, we're going to talk about it and what a great reset really looks like. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, it is $3.92 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 1.8%. We see Bitcoin 113,400 plus, Ethereum 4,000 plus, and XRP is at the number 4 spot at 265. We are off 0.8 on the 24 and still up 10.4 on the 7-day. Looking at the range of price here, ranging between 259 and 267. We're at the top side of that range, even though the market is pulled back from the $4 trillion mark it was just an hour or two ago. We'll keep an eye on it. Now, we know we need China and the U.S. to get a good trade deal locked in. We know that we need the government shutdown and everything else, the ETF approvals, the bank charter, the Fed master account. We're waiting for it all. The market infrastructure bill passed. All of that's in front of us, and it could happen within the next 30 days or so. How about that? How about that one? So let's keep this going. Look, if you haven't done it yet, I'm asking every one of you for a call to action here. I was invited and I was fortunate enough to be asked to participate in a TEDx talk. This is a remarkable opportunity. I'm really grateful that I was even asked to do this, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do this with other people like Coach JV and Johnny from Good Morning Crypto and Zen Warrior from Sigma Token. So I'm really proud to be a part of this thing, and it was a remarkable experience. It was definitely a challenge for me because it had to be a script that you read. But if you guys wouldn't mind going to TEDx Cincinnati or just TEDx Bradley Kimes and showing support there, just give it a watch and a like and share it with somebody you know. We greatly appreciate it because it was a great experience, and we're trying to educate the non-crypto crowd on the internet of value. So there we have that. 7 U.S. spot XRP ETF filings are currently under review by the SEC. The agency is expected to make decisions between October 18th and November 14th, following its September approval of generic listing standards for spot crypto ETFs. So there we have that. We are in that window, ladies and gentlemen. This next month could be extremely powerful for the markets and XRP. And here we see Visa to enable payments in 4 stablecoins across 4 blockchains with fiat conversion support, its CEO announced. Those stablecoins supported are USDC, EuroC, PayPal's PYUSD, and USDG on Ethereum, Solana, Stellar, and Avalanche. That's right, you don't see XRP anywhere. Why? I believe it's because of this. Visa is partnered with Thunes for global digital currency transactions, and Thunes uses XRP for settlement. And we know that because it says it right here. Network layer, crypto native network infrastructure utilizing blockchain exchanges for transfer. Ripple uses real USD and XRP. Come on in, right? This reminds me that we are a infrastructure. We're not just a payments, token. It's a payments network and an infrastructure. And I think you're going to see more evidence of that coming up. And then there was the announcement that Western Union to pilot stablecoin powered transfers for its customers across 200 countries. This is another huge sign. And then everybody said, well, wait a minute, because it's Ripple. It's not Ripple or XRP, it's Solana. And then I was like, well, congrats to Solana. There's not going to be one protocol to rule them all, right? It's a multi-chain world. And then Solana decides to take a shot at us. There's no bridge currency. There are stable coins on Solana. I love you. Well, you know what? We love you back, but you can take your little, shot across the bow and go fly a kite with it. Because at the end of the day, Solana, we know a few things. Like Phil Kwok from EZA. Listen to what he got to say.
So a lot of you have tagged us in posts about the Western Union announcement today saying that they are building stablecoin on Solana. A lot of you are very concerned about this killing XRP's use case as a bridge currency. But in case you hadn't been in the EZA app, that's far from it. XRP as a bridge currency is just one part of XRP's use cases within the ecosystem. And if you've been in the EZA app, you would have known that.
Exactly. Shout out to Phil, who's getting ready to run the marathon in New York this weekend. Those who know. Been right there in the Easy app all along. XRP as a bridge currency was always just one part of the XRP ledger's use cases. The broader overreaching purpose was always payments. The Ripple Primer is an inspiring read and precisely on this topic. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And what else do we know? I'll tell you what else we know. Here's the demographic. You want to know what a great reset really looks like? Here's what it looks like. Shout out to Anders for this one. Ripple's target market for cross-border payments, as EZA highlighted, is B2B, 187 trillion in the market as of 2024. Western Union, working with Solana, is doing 103 billion in 2024. I'm happy for Solana, but this ain't the end of anything. We're market infrastructure, baby. We're going to be seated in the back end of almost everything. And just like Kevin O'Leary said, he believes in the next 5 to 6 months, the largest holders of U.S. Treasuries will be stablecoin issuers.
And it's still the good old American economy that's backing that up. And that, and everybody trusts. 52 cents for every dollar invested around the world goes in the American economy. I think this is a good outcome. And I believe what I just told you will be rapidly moving forward because it will be law. It's not crypto cowboy land anymore. We have policy.
From the dollar, and what aspects of the dollar?
Moving away from the paper currency, and we're moving to the U.S. Treasury bill, shorter duration than 92 days. I think in the next 5 or 6 months, the largest holder of U.S. Treasuries will be stablecoins.
There you have it. And that's where we're headed. And you can see integration with Visa, Western Union, right? You can see all the integration already taking place. Now, coming back to what's actual market capture here, there's a lot more market to capture for Ripple than there is Western Union and Solana. So I think it's great. I'm happy for Solana. I wish they had a better understanding of this. Ripple bought Rail Financial, which settles 10% of all stablecoin settlements for business to business. And in case Solana hasn't checked lately, Western Union's a business. I think XRPCC says it best right here. Not sure you all noticed, but purchasing Hidden Road and G Treasury seems like Ripple has bigger and better plans for themselves and XRP. Worrying about whether Visa or Western Union will utilize the XRP ledger in the grand scheme of things is in the past. Tokenizing DTCC is the goal. And that's where we're talking about clearing and settlement and payments again. Because this, as it was said by Phil Kwok from EZA, is exactly the larger goal. And what else do we know about that goal?
Becoming one of the first banks to become a virtual asset service provider in Europe and to be able to support the MiCA rules. When MiCA went live in 2024, it was fully MiCA compliant, and it was also became fully transferable on the Ethereum blockchain. Since then, it will now be available on several other blockchains, including Solana, Ripple, and Stellar.
And there you have it. Now let's go forward here towards the end where they show a transaction getting done on the DTCC.
You entered a movement on your side, and since we're using the same distributed ledger, I saw it update instantly within a matter of seconds, and my exposure is completely covered.
Joe, thanks so much. I mean, this has been so easy to do, and it's one of those things that when you think about all the time and effort we've spent in the past trying to find the right assets and to be able to deploy them and move them around and make sure that we have our assets reconciled, and to be able to do this so easily, it's just a breeze.
There you have it. It's just a breeze. Using Ethereum, Ripple, Solana. It's a multi-chain world after all. Avalanche, it's a multi-chain world after all. Listen, I'm not worried about any of that stuff because this is what a real reset looks like. This is what real adoption looks like. That's why Ripple acquired G Treasury. They do 12.5 trillion in payments volume, which soon enough will be all done in a tokenized economy with real USD and XRP. Not to mention the fact that it's a $120 trillion deep market, according to Brad Garlinghouse, that they tapped into, which means G Treasury, if my math is right, is doing 10% of that market already. How about that? And in no time flat, it's going to be processing all of that with real USD and XRP. That's what real adoption looks like at my house. That's what a real reset looks like at my house. You know what else it looks like? It looks like this Swell commercial for Swell 2025 is coming with it's coming with speakers from NASDAQ, BNY, Citi, Franklin Templeton, JP Morgan, Fidelity, and even the White House with Patrick J. Witt. Ripple's recap of 2024 showcases how integrated traditional finance, TradFi, has become in Ripple's ecosystem. And you could see it here, and they go through and show a lot of the different heavies that are in here. I don't need to play it for you, and I know there's music in there. Dan Moorhead from Pantera Capital is backing Evernorth, which will be the world's largest XRP treasury for institutions. Now, David Schwartz just came out. If you haven't seen my first video from this morning, he just came out and admitted what we've known for years and talked about here on this channel, which is they can pre-allocate XRP in the escrow to whoever they want. And now I ask you, is that the reason Evernorth is creating the world's largest XRP institutional treasury? So as these contracts, these pre-allocated option contracts released to these entities, whether they be G7, G20 nations or otherwise, will they be putting their contract or whatever that amount of XRP that they get, will they be putting that in Evernorth like a giant liquidity pool to make payments every day? I don't know the answer. I'm asking. I know this. What if all of these players that are going to be that we mentioned here, the JP Morgan, Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, NASDAQ, BNY, Citi, forget the G7, G20 for a minute. What if they all just take a position in XRP through the escrow? And when it's released to them on the date it's supposed to, they put it in Evernorth's liquidity pool and they're off to the races. Is that what we're going to see? I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking the question. Just like Crypto Bull puts this up here, looking at the XRP to Ethereum chart. And he's seeing similarities here. And he says it looks like we could see a repeat of 2017, essentially here, where XRP bounced from that support twice in 2017. Also, the fact that this happened at the apex of the falling wedge makes me think that XRP may outperform in the near future with Ethereum following. Time will tell. Again, XRP to Ethereum back in 2017, 2018, you had this similar setup. And here we are right here, another falling wedge. Could be setting up for another breakout, but maybe we need to pull down because we're here. Maybe it needs to do a full-on touch before it takes off. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't take off at all. I'd find that harder to believe than anything else. That's where I'm at on this day. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. And as far as I'm concerned, everything we're watching here is about adoption. It is about a reset to a brand new monetary system, which involves the digital on-chain economy. And I believe the XRP ledger, Ripple, Real USD, and XRP are smack dab in the middle of it all. I'll catch all of you on the next one.